Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Dipping French fries into a Frosty. Lady Gaga's meat dress. The friendship of Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg? At one point, these things might have seemed surprising, but time has made these unconventional pairings feel normal. In 1974, a product was created combining two things that should not be delicious together, and they weren't. But with a little tinkering, it not only became a craveable indulgence, but one of the most successful exports of a nation. Today, the billion-dollar brand has extended far beyond its original purpose. Of course, it can be enjoyed neat over ice or in a creamy cocktail, but it can also be a special companion in your coffee, an unexpected drizzle on your ice cream, or a secret ingredient in your favorite baked goods. So for all of those reasons, and because it's now tradition that Marissa and I get a little sloppy for St. Patrick's Day, that's why this week's On Brand is on Bailey's Irish Cream.
You're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
I'm Jon.
I'm Marissa.
Okay. So we are two non-drinkers, and this is our second alcohol episode.
Uh-huh. It's 11:30 a.m.
Well, I have made us Bailey's Irish Cream ice lattes.
Ooh.
I found a recipe. This is now my third day in a row having this to make sure that I got it just right.
Had you ever had Bailey's before? Was this like,
I have.
okay?
I think I've had it in coffee like after a meal or something.
Yeah, at a restaurant.
It's very, it's a good...
It's on brand for you.
I think I've only ever had it in coffee. I don't think I've ever nursed it neat on ice.
Not yet.
Not yet. If you do not subscribe to the Patreon, we just recorded an episode of Off Brand, and I've been drinking this during that. And at one point, I was talking so fast. So for me, when I drink, I tend to get drunk for a very short period of time, and I either sweat or just laugh a lot or talk really fast. And there was a moment she did not know I was drinking Bailey's, and I just started rambling on this rampage, and it was because I was sloshed.
Oh my gosh, you have a water bottle. You're like a housewife with a secret right now in your little coffee carafe. You have Bailey's.
I'm like Meg Ryan in When a Man Loves a Woman. I have Bailey's Irish Cream hidden throughout the home.
That's so funny. So yeah, Jon dropped off a delicious iced latte. So this is espresso, milk, and Bailey's, or just espresso and Bailey's?
So this is, I make a shot of espresso. It's
like you say make, like this is like your go-to thing. You make it.
Well, yeah, but I don't I brew it at home on the stove.
I feel like it's like part of your lifestyle now.
Oh, it is. Well, I always make iced lattes. So I got one of those we've talked about it before, that little Italian mocha pot a year or two ago, which has really, cut down my visits to Starbucks or anywhere else. So I make a shot of espresso. For this, it's 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of vanilla syrup, and then 5 teaspoons of Bailey.
Nice.
So it's not a ton, but it's like finding the right, it's like you can tell it's in there. You feel like a grown up, but you're not like having to hide your breath.
This takes me right back to Las Vegas. This would be my go-to drink, especially if we were gambling. We wouldn't always be staying at a nice place, but occasionally we would want to gamble at a nice place because you get nicer drinks when they come around and give you your free drinks at the craps table.
Right.
So coffee and Bailey's is like the perfect Vegas drink. It's like 11 p.m. You need a little bit more gas in the tank, but you want to have a bit of fun and you want to drink essentially a chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I've never been a vodka Red Bull person.
Oh,
shocker.
God.
Surprise, surprise.
Even just a Red Bull person seems rough.
Red Bull. Yeah. It was like, this not happening.
Of course, we have a friend that works at Red Bull. And one time he was like, does anyone want any Red Bull? Because we were getting together to do an improv show. And of course, I can't say no to anything free. I was like, sure, I'll have a case. That case sat in my house for 2 years.
You would have to really not like something to turn down a free case of it.
Yeah. But then, of course, I wasted it. Sorry.
This is like what I'm imagining people like from vodka Red Bull, because you get the buzz of the caffeine, but you get that like, you know, the groove of the booze. And you and I, as you said, we don't drink. So this is a good Valentine's Day.
Good Lord. She's already sloshed. She's only had one sip.
This is a good St. Patrick's Day treat.
Merry Christmas. Does it taste okay?
It tastes delicious. I have to pick up my kids in an hour and a half. I'm going to be like, I'm riding a bike to pick them up. I'm going to be like, woo!
Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, I figured it's just by coincidence, this episode comes out, I think, 3 days before St. Patrick's Day. I had the St. Patrick's Day episode last year. I did Guinness.
Disgusting. This is much better than Guinness.
You know, I didn't mind like the first couple of sips of Guinness. I could not do, it would have to stay very cold for me, I think.
Yeah.
And it warms up too fast. I like the idea of it. I like these like Irish specialty drinks that have been around for, I mean, this has only been around since the 70s, but Guinness had been around. I feel like it was like 1600 or something.
Yeah, that's
insane.
fine. That's fine.
I don't remember, but so I thought now it's a tradition. Now every year we have to get a booze for St. Patrick's Day.
I think that's great. And I love that you were secretly sipping during
I know.
first record.
I thought it would just be fun to tell you, oh, by the way, you didn't know I was drinking Bailey's on Off-Brand. But like,
if people go back and listen to that,
listen to the part where I'm talking about the bagels. That was like my peak. That's me peak like hummingbird heart having alcohol in my system. So there's a fun reason to join the Patreon.
That's really fun. Yeah, this is a really fun brand. Well, Jon, I have a praise report before we get into the show.
Praise for me?
I have a praise report. I'm proud of myself for something that I did.
I would rather be about me, but I love that.
If you didn't notice, I'm wearing a new sweater from Old Navy.
You remembered your address?
When I tell you, I was a millisecond away. I cannot get it to get my old address out of there. It's like set as the default. And so I can't I can only add new addresses, but every time I log in, it just like sloops right up automatically. And usually when I'm doing any kind of purchase, there's just so much shit going on all the time. I have to just do it like lightning fast. I don't get a lot of time to like sit and like review, go over. It's like, I'm just blasting off. I was this close to sending a third package to my old house.
If you had sent another package there, I feel like we would have to shut down. I feel like no one could respect you.
I know.
Podcast ends because host is insane.
Yeah, it was really, really close. And then I stopped myself. I mean, my heart was racing because I was like, it was like that, like where you almost like, you hear like, you're like, oh my God, I almost like ran into that car. Like it just felt like a split second, my destiny. I was so relieved. My heart was racing that I had caught it in time before I hit. My cursor was on the place order when I spotted it. It was so exhilarating. That's the most exhilaration I've had in a while, and I barely recovered.
Well, it's a great sweater. The color looks good on you. Did you get more items?
You know, this was my secret tip that I've kind of discovered. I got this from the men's department.
You're at that age. All right, everyone pull over.
Sometimes the ladies' styles, they're a little bit more trendy. They're a little bit more, something a little more cropped, a little whatever. So I find, you can go in the men's section. You can find a nice, sometimes some will even say maybe the quality of the men's clothes is a little bit thicker. The quality is a little bit better, maybe because they know that women are more likely to repurchase frequently. I don't know. Jury's out on that. But I think this is a well-made sweater. I think it was like $12. Old Navy, they throw money at you. Like you're checking out, they're like 80% off. It's like, whoa, easy. I was gonna buy it.
And then they give you like
cash,
camel cash. Like come back in 3 months and you'll save 40 cents. And I never know. That never works. Like I never do that right.
That really stresses me out. And then there was already like a coupon built in. And then there was also an empty spot for promo code. And I didn't have any promo codes going, but they were already like throwing so many discounts at me. I was like, but there's a spot for promo code. This is what you do, right? Everyone does this.
I hate
Old Navy promo codes. You go, there's 700 websites that pop up. Couponcash.com. You click on that. 100 promo codes. Yeah. Active now. They say active
and then
now.
There's even a list that's like expired. So you're like, well, then the active now ones must be good.
Last use 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You do it.
700 uses today.
Today, this minute. You copy it, you paste it. What does it say? Promo code not valid.
Promo code not valid. Promo code already used. Promo code.
2 or 3 times. And then I just give up. And how many times, this is my question for you, how many times do you attempt a coupon code before you say, it? I quit.
I give it usually probably 3, no more than 5.
Yeah.
You know
it's
the ones
rough.
I hate the most? You go to those sites, you go to Coupon Cabin, you go to one of them, you click on it, and all it does is take you to the website as if it's like,
Yes.
oh no, trust me, when you get to your cart,
You'll
the
know what
coupon
to.
will be there. It's not there.
Applied automatically at checkout. It's like,
not.
why did I go on this ride? You led me on this pony ride. I'm back at the start.
And then how many times, maybe this is just me, after I've given up, I go, or actually sometimes this is before I start the search,
Yeah.
I go through just a handful of best guesses. I do
Okay.
like a welcome 10, I do a welcome 15, a welcome 20.
Spring 10.
Spring 10, Dad
Sure.
15, Mom 30. Like I go through all
Do you
the
think
holidays.
maybe you'll like unlock a code that has been
Yes.
like a lost code that they forgot they even had active?
Yes.
Mother's Day 2020, and it's like surprise 30% off.
Yes, because some of them do have like, I think, a code that's like in perpetuity. It's like a generic code when you give them your email address or something.
Yeah.
And it will be like a welcome 10. And then some of them, you give them your email and then it's like you can tell. It's like a one time only. It's like,
It's 900 characters.
yeah,
it's
it's like
dashes,
the Apple
dots.
passwords that they are trying to throw at me. It's
Yes.
so long.
Gibberish.
You know that's only good for once.
Mm-hmm.
And then people on Reddit will be like, I have a code if anyone wants it. And then it's like, I never get there in time. And I will search like Reddit. I'll search because that's a great place to go.
Wow.
I'll do Old Navy coupon code Reddit. And I'm like, wait, does Old Navy refer to it? See, I'm drunk. This is what I do. I talk really fast. Does Old Navy call it a coupon code or a promo code? Like, it's just,
okay.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't do it 5 times. I spend 2 days on
You
this.
spend a lot
and
on
by
it.
the time it's like item out of stock.
Yeah, it's rough trying to get a coupon code these days. And what I really don't like is when they ask you to be on the hook for text message marketing to get they used to say the email. Now they're dangling, give me your phone number.
If you give me hey, John, if you give me your phone number, I'll give you this coupon.
You can get free shipping. And these days, if I see shipping is $9.99, the thing I'm buying is like less than $20. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So now I have text messages like out the wazoo. I wake up to 10 text messages from all these stores that I bought one thing from just to
Yeah.
get my 10% off.
I know.
Where are we?
Where
What's
are
happening?
we? And it's like they constantly are emailing you, asking you if you forgot to.
Mm-hmm.
John, are you okay?
Abandoned cart.
Buddy, you know you left some stuff in your cart, right?
Ever since you harassed me about having one email that I use for marketing and my main
That's
personal.
insane.
It's insane, but then I also think, isn't that even crazier that you have a main email and your main email has how many unread messages?
Well, yeah, but because okay, so
Like if it was all just my regular personal, like a friend emailing me like, hey, did you get that? Whatever. I would have 0 unread emails. All my unread emails are marketing related.
first, I want to apologize if throughout this episode you hear a slight little clinking of ice. It's because I am sloppy.
Grandma's having a sip.
Grandma is having a sip. Okay, so there is one exception, one stupid exception in my personal email that
Okay.
it's just because it has been that way since the beginning. I get my eBay emails there.
Oh.
And so I have a lot of things that I search on eBay
Mm-hmm.
that I don't even collect anymore. The searches just, I'm like, when there's a new
Yeah.
swatch or whatever, I get emails for those. So I have a lot of eBay. God, I am drunk. Let's get
E-bails.
through this. I have to go to bed.
Anything actively you're pursuing on eBay right now? Anything you're watching?
Not at all. There's one. I have a cologne that I've worn since high school from the Body Shop.
Okay.
And the Body Shop in America closed last year. They just disappeared over a weekend.
That's terrible.
It's okay. I stocked up on my cologne. I somehow knew this would happen.
Yeah, this day would come.
So I have several, but I searched that a couple weeks ago, and there was a place in India that had 4 bottles of it for sale. And it had mixed reviews, the site. Some people are like, I got my cologne, but it's missing like the spray cap. But then other people are like, I got it and it's perfect. So
I mean, couldn't it just be like brown water that they're shipping you across the world? And then what are you going to do?
I took
Untraceable.
a gamble and I ordered one. And I was like, if it turns out to be legit, like maybe after they shut down, they just did a buyout with a company in India
Sure.
and sent all the stuff. And I was like, if it's the real deal, because it wasn't expensive either. It was like $30.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if it ends up being real, then I'll order another one. But I looked and mine is en route, luckily, because other people are like, I never even got anything.
Yeah.
Mine isn't currently in Colorado,
Okay.
but it has sold out. So even if I do love it, I can't get another
Well,
one.
I look forward to an update on that.
Yeah.
If the cologne was legit.
I hope it's legit. What I'm curious about is it looks like, and this probably would have happened here, the cologne has always come in a black bottle. You can't see the liquid. And it looks like that company was always like, it became vegan a few years ago. It was always finding ways to try to be greener.
What did it used to have, like skunk oil or something?
Well, no, but it would have like honey. Like it had,
honey.
There's other things, other animals besides skunks. I know that you don't realize that. Milk. But now
I don't think milk would make a very good cologne.
Not a cologne, but they do like body washes and soaps.
Sure,
too.
goat's milk.
Have you never been to like a beauty supply place?
I haven't spent much time at a body shop, but I do. But goat's milk.
Well,
I was thinking about perfume specifically.
You are dressing like a man now, so soon you'll be coming in
I'm
overalls.
telling you, the quality does seem good.
I gotta
a little thicker.
So you're like the young. So if we were on a poster, you're supposed to be like the young, vivacious woman of the pod, and I'm the grumpy old curmudgeon gay. But like on off-brand today, your things that you're on brand for are Salon Paws, like back patches,
Pain relieving patches.
Mine's like a cool album from The Cure, and now you're like, I like dressing in men's clothes. Not bad. And I'm like ordering cologne from India. Like I'm living the life you should be living.
Yeah, we're very complex.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.
Well, what do you think? Do you feel like learning about Irish cream?
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. And quickly, a quick shout out to my good friend Christine, who's gotten many shout outs on the show for donating her bottle of Bailey's.
Wow, that's fun.
So I said I would give it back. I gotta be honest, at this point, I don't know that that's true. Now I have Bailey's every morning. All right, so why Bailey's? Because it's St. Patrick's Day. I don't even know that I know it's an Irish drink, but I don't know that it's necessarily associated with St. Patrick's Day. But, like I said, we did Guinness last year. I thought it'd work.
Yeah, I think it counts.
Normally, I would do a full page of research on St. Patrick's Day. I didn't feel like getting yelled at. So here's all I have to say about St. Patrick's Day. The March 17th celebration started. This surprised me. When do you think the March 17th celebration of St. Patrick's Day started?
1922.
1631.
No.
When the church established a feast day honoring St. Patrick.
Wow.
He had been a patron saint of Ireland who died around the 5th century. Very little is known about who he actually was, but apparently, over centuries, the idea of Irish and St. Patrick's Day being a lucky day is because he had a lot of good luck in his life.
Okay.
And who knows if that's true.
I think Coca-Cola or one of these major brands needs to personify St. Patrick in a consistent, because when I think of St. Patrick, I'm thinking of like, what I'm realizing is like a leprechaun, which I don't think is right.
You're like Lucky Charms, bitch. I know
Lucky
who
Charms.
he is.
But the way that Coca-Cola invented Santa, like we need somebody to
Whoa. Go back and listen to the Santa Claus episode.
I know. But like, as far as like the modern version, I think we need to collectively get on board with who we say Saint Patrick. Who was Saint Patrick?
I think he's like a slender slender
gender
bender. He's a slender gender bender, and he's a ginger. I picture him in like
Alistair.
I picture him taller than Alistair.
Okay.
In like really long legs.
Okay.
A nice fitting velvet suit.
You're describing like a Jiminy Cricket as a man.
No, a green velvet suit.
Okay.
A really soft red beard, but not like a full beard, kind of like tailored beard.
Okay.
A wink in his eye. He'll flip you like he's got laminated shamrocks.
Okay.
He flips you a shamrock. And he's always got a mug of Irish cream. This is how I picture him. Or I guess now we would have a glass of Coca-Cola.
Depending on whose dime this is on. Yeah, I think it would be good for us to really get on the same page about that, because I honestly, you said March 17th. I'm like, I didn't even know what day St. Patrick's Day was.
I know it because it's my grandmother's birthday.
Okay. It's not one of those holidays that changes like Easter.
Right. It's always
March 17th. I didn't even know that. I think We got to get St. Patrick's Day out there in a more specific way. I think people just use it as an excuse to like drink green beer.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't feel like I need God, I really, with everything going on, I just want to make sure before I die, the world knows the legacy of St. Patrick.
I will be the Sarah Josepha Hale for St. Patrick's Day. I think we could, like St. Nick, it could be you wake up in the morning, you follow a trail of gold coins to a big mug of green beer.
I do like the color visuals. I like that every holiday. I was thinking about that this week with Mardi Gras going on or just ended or something. Like I love that those colors have become like purple, yellow, and I think green, but whatever they are, like you know them as soon as you see it that's Mardi Gras. And I love like St. Patrick's Day's be like green and gold and black.
And rainbow.
The rainbow. I don't know. Is that part of St. Patrick's or just like Irish lore?
I don't know Irish lore. I was at a closing Party City a few days ago. They are liquidating their St. Patrick's Day material. And I'm like, do people have St. Patrick's Day parties? Even at 80% off, it feels like a stretch.
That reminds me, I was thinking if there ever is a thing like Party City closing, and right now I have a list of 3, maybe at the end of some of our episodes, we have Alistair play sad music for 1 minute
memoriam.
And we just say what those businesses meant to us, like our greatest memory of Party City.
Great.
And then there's a couple other coming up. So if we don't run long today, let's do our first in memoriam to Party City.
That sounds good.
We can't give them all a full show like we did Bed Bath & Beyond.
Sure.
Okay, so what is Bailey's? If you've never had Bailey's, it's an Irish cream liqueur made from cream. I did not know cocoa and Irish whiskey, and it's emulsified with a vegetable oil.
Cocoa?
It has chocolate in it. It has from the beginning. I did not know that.
My perception of chocolate is so closely tied to brown. Like I had red velvet macarons last night, and they're purple. They're like not even red. They're like dark purple. And in my mind, I'm like, these are raspberry flavor. Like I have a really hard time telling if anything is chocolate if it's not brown.
Well, they say we eat with our eyes.
I certainly do.
So I can understand why you would do that. But I also love white chocolate. So I'm not that. It doesn't have to be. And this is tan.
It's tan. It's a pale tan.
It's light. It's pale. Okay, so the first person I'd like to introduce is Tom Yago. So he's hired at International Distillers and Vintners, also known as IDV, which is a British liquor giant.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge company. And he's basically hired as the man in charge of creating new products. That's what the interview said. I'm assuming that's like head of product development. I'm assuming that there's a real title attached to it instead of guy who makes things. So it's 1973, and Tom gets a marketing brief that's issued by Gilbey's of Ireland, and that is a division of IDV, but it's in Ireland. He's in London. And you know what a brief is. If you don't know what a brief is, basically a company, like if you're working for them, this Irish company gives you a brief saying, this is what we're looking for you to create. It kind of gives you your parameters.
Oh, I would love to be tasked with that. Let me in there. God. Put me in there, coach. I'm ready to play.
This is what people should do when they're dating. Everyone should have like a dating brief. Like this is the man or woman or whatever that I'm looking for.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
So basically what it's saying in the brief is that the Irish government at this time is really pushing to grow Ireland. Right now, Ireland is pastures and they produce a lot of things, but most of the things that they're producing is being used in Ireland. So they want to create things that are exported and broaden the relationships with other
countries. It can't all be like wool and like Kerrygold butter.
Exactly. So basically, they're offering a 10% tax break on companies that make an exported product or service that they can send outside of Ireland. So when Tom gets this brief, Gilbey's is basically saying, we would like you guys to create us a drink that we can export.
Wow.
And that's pretty much all the information they got. They didn't say what kind of drink. The only thing that they said was we would like it to be obviously an alcoholic drink. No other parameters. No like this. It should be a base of vodka, tequila, whatever. Just make us an alcoholic drink that we can distribute internationally.
And so alcohol, is that because just like the markup is so high on alcohol?
I think just it's like that's what they are. They're like they're already like they have such a large alcohol portfolio that it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So Tom puts together a team, and basically in-house, he's got a guy named Mac McPherson, who's like a head chemist, and his assistant.
He sounds hot. Mac McPherson.
I do say you can be, I think by being a chemist, you can be 10% uglier because of the white coat. I find that that gives you a little bit of like
It raises your status a little bit.
Yeah, there's something about
Mac McPherson. He sounds like quarterback of the football team.
Yeah, Mac McPherson here. Oh, you play sports? No. I mix drinks. And he's got an assistant named Steve Wilson, who that's the only time I think you're going to hear his name. I don't bring him up again.
Oh, poor Steve.
Tom hires 2 copywriters from a big ad agency. One is David Gluckman and his partner Hugh Seymour Davies. Now, Dave Gluckman helped create another Irish export about 10 years earlier in the early 60s that was a big, successful hit. Any idea what that might be?
No clue.
You just said it.
Which one?
Kerrygold butter. So he brings in the Kerrygold. I didn't know Kerrygold butter goes this far back.
I had no idea. I mean, I just got a box from Costco yesterday.
Okay. Stew alert. Stew alert.
Uh-huh.
How many times have I said? So here's the thing. Don't rub your head. I'm not exhausting. I go and I have to buy a single beautiful golden bar of Kerrygold butter at either Trader Joe's or wherever for like $5 a bar now. What did you bought? I'm assuming a 4-bar box.
Yeah, 4-bar box.
Do you remember what it cost?
Probably like $7.59.
For the whole box?
I think so.
So $2 a bar?
Babe, all you have to say is, can I have a bar?
But what I've said already 30 times is next time you do that, buy me a box. I'll Venmo you the $8. Because when I buy 4 bars, I'm $20 in.
You know something that you have done in the past? You've come here straight from Sprinkles, where you bought 4 cupcakes.
One time.
Did you get cupcakes for me?
You know what you've done? Fine. Next time I go to Sprinkles, I will let you know I'm there. Next time you go to Costco, let me know how much a box of...
I'll give you a bar today, babe.
I have one at home.
You're not even low?
I'm not low. All right, so he's part of the Kerrygold butter legacy.
I wish we had just like a stew alert, like a light that you flip on when you...
Stew alert is going to... Now that's the merch. Stew alert.
I'll put in like an alarm sound.
I need like a little like... I'm like a... They have those... No, they have those buttons that like... I think like Staples. Like Staple... I need one that I hit and it's like stew alert or stewing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. He just took a big swig of his coffee and bagels.
Okay, so... All right, so he's got all the people in place, and he's also got access to an amazing like lab facilities, and now they just need, ideas. So Tom and his team brainstorm. They don't know if they should make a fizzy drink. They don't know if they should make a sweet drink. They don't know if they should make a sweet fizzy drink.
Okay.
Everything they think of feels like it's been done and kind of pedestrian. So they decide that it's time to do some research. What does that entail? Going to bars.
Wow.
So they go to bars and restaurants and just see what's out there. They try all the different cocktails and try to...
His wife, like, in a bathrobe at, like, 3 a.m. It's like, you're just getting to bed now? Like, what's
Babe,
going on?
I told you, it's research. He, like, pukes all over her. The kids are all in potato sacks. Oh, wait, he's not even in Ireland. He's in London. But they're still in potato sacks.
Yeah.
And Tom's busy. He's in charge of creating new things, so he has other projects that he's working on. So David and the Kerrygold guy and Hugh kind of take the lead on this, like, Irish project.
Fun.
And these guys, from what I've read, from David's point of view, are the original Odd Couple.
Wow. By the way, this is a great movie.
This is the movie,
This
man.
is the movie,
We've got, Matt Damon. He had coming off the high of Kerrygold. It starts with a close-up of him spreading it on bread. His gay friend bitching like, you didn't get me a bar of Kerrygold butter. It's played by me.
You work there.
And he's like, you know what you didn't bring me? The movie's going to be great. They shouldn't let us write it.
Well, even just them having like their romping around adventures around London, like trying to, come up with the next hot hot drink. It
Yeah.
feels like it's almost like a hangover style comedy.
I love it. Yeah, you're going to have a montage in there.
Ben Affleck could play his friend,
Of
so they could work
course.
together.
I
Did
mean,
you know Ben Affleck is like trying to get back together with Jennifer Garner?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Lopez. I was like 3 times.
No, he's trying. Well, like Lopez is done. He tried that however many times. He's trying to get back together with Jennifer Garner.
Is there?
Like,
am
what's
I
going on with
crazy?
this
Or
guy?
can he only date Jennifers?
Not only that, he can only date 2 Jennifers.
Was that did he meet a genie before he became famous and he was like, I'll grant you 3 wishes? And he's like, oh, great. I don't know. You can only date Jennifers.
A genie definitely played a big role in this. Yeah.
You know who could play the genie?
Who?
The Rock. I feel like it would be The Rock. I don't listen.
Has The Rock played a genie yet?
I'm sure for his kids or at a Christmas
For his
party.
kids for fun?
I'm not drawn to The Rock.
Really? Oh,
You look forward to the latest Rock film?
I find him to be incredibly charming.
Wow.
Moana.
Like David and Hugh, you and I are the original odd couple. So David, I mean, his quick backstory, he's fled South Africa in the early 1960s. He shared a room and slept on a mattress on the floor in Earl Scott. He left a possessive family behind to go to London and make a name for himself in advertising.
Oh, wow.
He's the kind of guy that gets to work on time. He's like usually stressed out, but like raring to go as soon as he's supposed to be there, dressed well, all that.
Our regular Teddy Roosevelt.
Babe.
Yep, Teddy Roosevelt is currently studying at Harvard, where he is in the top 25 in his class. And his gusto, lust for learning is so great that he literally races from class to class.
Okay, so you just heard me say that David fled South Africa in the early 60s and slept on the floor, and you're comparing that to going to Harvard.
Well, you said he had an energy that he put into his work. And also lived a very colorful life, as did Teddy Roosevelt. The Rise of Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, available wherever fine books are sold.
Teddy might be more like Hugh. Hugh is Eton and Oxford educated.
Oh, okay.
He can quote Latin and Greek greats. He loves Shakespeare. He loves Beethoven. He loves Mozart. He's 90 minutes late to work, and when he gets there, he's still not ready to go. He's not wearing a suit, just the complete opposite of David.
Wow.
Now, according to David, the initial thought behind Bailey's Irish Cream took about 30 seconds. Then it took another 45 minutes to flesh out the idea.
Oh my God.
So it's less than an hour.
That is crazy.
So let's walk through it.
Do you remember that song, that band LFO, Summer Girls? I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. You know that song?
Kind of.
So when that song came out, like people would say it was a very bad song. And that band, they said, oh, well, we wrote it in an hour.
My God, and someone's like, maybe spend 3 hours on it. That's really funny.
Reminds me of that.
If someone says something negative about something you've done, don't be proud of how little time you spent on it. You know, I barely gave it any thought.
Would it impress you that I didn't put a lot of time into it?
All right, so it's May morning, 1973, London. The boys are in the office and they're chatting about the task at hand, and David wonders, is there anything that I could pull from my experiences at Kerrygold that might help with this task? Ireland has all those lush, green, rain-soaked pastures. They've got the cows, and it's known for its dairy production. Is there anything with that might work with an alcoholic drink?
Wow.
Now, it just so happened that IDV had recently acquired a company in Cork called Express Dairies. And at the time, Express was producing semi-skimmed milk because that had become popular in Ireland. And I don't expect you to know this, but when you create semi-skimmed milk, you're left with a lot of excess cream. That might come in handy.
Wow.
IDV also owned a small brand of Irish whiskey that was struggling. So after a moment of silence, Hugh looks at David and says, what would happen if we were to mix Irish whiskey and cream? That might be interesting, right? He sits back, waits for a reply. Let's try it, David said. Now, Hugh doubts himself immediately. I don't know. It's probably going to be gross. I don't know. Milk and whiskey. I don't know. And this is another way they were different. Like Hugh would kind of doubt like his thoughts and was always assuming that someone was going to be like, no. And David, even though he gets stressed out, he's like, let's do it. Like, not worry about the consequences. Let's do it.
I mean, they've been working on this for, what, an hour, 15 minutes at this point? Like, go for it.
Try it.
It's not a waste of time.
Exactly. So they run to the nearest supermarket. They buy a small bottle of Jameson's Irish whiskey and a tub of single cream and hurry back to the office.
Wow.
They use a blender and mix the two ingredients together, and they tentatively taste the results. It's intriguing. It's different. It's disgusting.
Just chemically, like from a science perspective, it seems like it would like curdle the cream.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's basically literally just whiskey and a glop of cream put in a blender.
Oh, you know what I just learned? Like back in the day, pre-baby formula, if you had a baby that for some reason that maybe the mom's like milk didn't come in, whatever, you know what they would do? They would stick the baby right on the udder of a goat.
I love that. Do you remember when we went to Hawaii and we milked goats?
We did milk goats, and they gave our table the smallest amount of crackers.
We were like a table of 40. No, we were a table of like 12 people. We were a lot of people.
Yes, we were sampling some goat cheese made at the goat dairy, and they gave us like 7 Ritz, and we went through sleeve after sleeve after sleeve after
We had
sleeve.
to keep asking, just leave the box. And like we were doing this goat cheese experience where you try, I don't know, 40 kinds of goat cheese. Here's the thing about goat cheese. They all taste the same. Doesn't matter what you put in it. They all taste the same. Here's honey goat cheese.
A little herb, a little whatever.
Yeah, an herb. They all taste like I was so sick of goat cheese. But it was fun to milk them. That soft little dangly teat.
Yeah, it's like lightly hairy.
You have to like, yeah, slightly hairy. Like the shaft was okay, this is on brand. All right, so David, it's gross. And David looks around, he grabs some sugar and he mixes that in. It's better, but it's still very bad. He needs something else, but what? He looks around. There's nothing. There's nothing here to use. They go back to the store. He's searching the shelves. He's looking for something. He's looking for something. What is it? He doesn't know. He looks over and he sees it. A package of Cadbury powdered drinking chocolate. I have a can of this in my home.
What?
A can of Cadbury.
You have a can of Cadbury drinking chocolate in your home?
I do. I got it from
World Market.
Jungle Gems.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, it's so pretty. It's like that beautiful. Cadbury's colors are so pretty. They're like that royal purple
So
and
nice.
like gold.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever made it. It's basically hot chocolate, like Cadbury hot chocolate.
Give it to me.
No.
Trade this for butter.
I still can't. Al, you missed it. I'm stewing.
He's mad I didn't ask him if he wants butter from when I went to Costco.
Because I spend $5 a bar on butter and she spends $2. Pick me up a box. I'll Venmo you.
Man.
I'm stewing.
Give me the cocoa.
I need an I'm stewing button or like instead of applause, just a sign that's like he's stewing or just stewing. All right. So they buy this Cadbury powdered chocolate. And they head back to the office. He puts some in. He tastes it. And it's really good.
Oh, wow.
It's really good. And not only that, he said that the cream seemed to have an effect that made the drink taste stronger than it actually was.
Interesting.
And they were very surprised by that.
Wow. So it tastes like almost more boozy than it is?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And just like that, they've created a new alcoholic drink. The whole process from Hugh looking at David to create the drink and throwing out the idea to going to the store, making the drink, cleaning out an old Schweppes tonic bottle, filling that up with their tonic and calling Tom took about 45 minutes.
Wow.
And that's it.
They're very productive.
10 minutes later, David is in a cab headed to see Tom. Hugh didn't go for one of two reasons. He either was worried that Tom would hate it and tell him to get out of his office because he was insecure, or he didn't have a nice suit to put on in the office. We think it was the latter.
Wow.
We'll never know. It doesn't really matter.
Poor guy.
In the cab ride, David is trying to put together a quick pitch for the idea. So, it tastes great. And that alone is kind of a selling point because everyone, like alcohol at the time, feels like it has to be kind of brutal. And now they have an alcohol that tastes really good.
Yeah.
The taste is stronger than it really was because of the cream. That would mean it would require lower duties and it would be more profitable, which very good. He's
Great.
so excited to present this to Tom, this murky brown liquid that's in a recycled bottle. Basically, anyone else, it would look like garbage, and he cannot wait. He believes that they have really got what the Irish team is going to want.
Absolutely. It's connected to the identity of Ireland, the
Exactly.
cream, the cows, the rain, the fields.
Irish whiskey.
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
perfect. Now, that being said, the IDV portfolio was focused more on wines, sherries, and like serious spirits like gins and whiskeys and vodkas. So a chocolatey, creamy, whiskey-y drink like was not a natural fit. And he knew that. But Tom drinks it and he instantly likes it, and he gets just as excited as David does about it. They both get so excited that they actually kiss. That was not in the research. That's just how I picture it. That's not necessarily
In
canon.
the movie, it will be.
In the movie, Matt and Ben.
There will be a really long scene with a lot of nudity, quite explicit.
A buttery.
Ben Affleck showed his butt and maybe his hog in something.
Babe,
Gone Girl, maybe? Was he in Gone Girl?
This is on
Yeah.
brand. We can't talk about Ben's hog. That's off-brand talk. Children, a hog is a farm animal. Now, normally, these guys are excited guys. If they come up with a great idea, they're usually go, go, go.
Fun.
They decided that because this is a totally revolutionary drink, there's nothing like it on the market, they decided that they wanted to kind of completely develop it before they showed it to the Irish. So
Smart.
they're pulling back on the speed that they would normally go. Tom kicks it over to our boy, Mac McPherson, the chemist, to obviously, it might be good, but it needs some work. They need to figure out how to make it shelf stable and, mixing cream and whiskey and like really fine tune it and make it a drink that they can put on market. So Mac is dealing with that. And while that's going on, Tom and David are going to focus on the branding. They have to come up with a name, the bottle, the label, all the things that you have to do. Now, at Kerrygold, David learned that a lot of Irish names sound very quaint when they're applied to brands. So, of course, they could call it O'Reilly's Irish Cream, but that might sound a little too whimsical. So he is like, we really need like an Anglo-Irish name. And while this is all going on, the office that David and Hugh are in is temporary. So they're also kind of tasked with like finding a permanent office space for themselves. And Hugh had one requirement for the office. It had to be near a game butcher because he loved early season grouse. Now, I didn't even know what any of that meant.
Early season grouse.
Yes. Okay. Grouse. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what grouse is.
All right, baby. Grouse is a seasonal game bird.
Oh.
It's a quintessential British dish beloved by many. They say that the first birds of the season are the most highly prized.
I'm not eating a tiny bird. Al, have you eaten grouse?
Do you know of grouse?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Do you know grouse? Do you know grouse?
Do you know grouse?
You
Did
know
you
grouse?
hear grouse? Like, I love that's like, I'm only going to be somewhere where there's someone that butchers grouse.
Oh, yikes.
The first birds of the grouse season are the most prized because they're supposed to be very sweet and succulent meat and delicate with this is, I said, I think off brand. I don't mind the word moist or ointment.
Uh-huh.
Hate the word gamey.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's a gamey bird.
Don't love that.
Now, purists demand grouse be served roasted whole, served pink, and garnished with game chips. Don't know what that is. Grouse liver pate. No. Bread sauce. No.
No.
And braised red cabbage. Sure.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a side of cabbage
I'll
to go,
have
please.
one side of braised cabbage, please. Hold everything else.
Not to be rude, but just the cabbage.
Of course, some chefs in Britain say that the flavor of the grouse is improved with
The feathers.
a couple of days of aging.
Oh, dear.
So let's just let it sit there for 2 days. That's why a lot of
Yuck.
places won't even serve it. And this is my favorite. As the season develops, the older birds can become tough and strong flavored, which is why grouse has a reputation for being an acquired taste.
More than I ever wanted to know about grouse.
No one, when they were like, ooh, Bailey's, is like, I'm going to get a deep lesson on grouse. There you go, kids. When you're at your nearest fowl party or shooting range, you have some trivia.
If you have had or heard of grouse, honk your horn 3 times.
Now we have merch that says, I stop for grouse. All right, so They're looking for offices that are around grouse selling facilities.
Well, that's honestly my parameters for the podcast as well. That's why we work off of this kitchen table. It is good proximity to grouse.
We need a grouse shop up on the main strip. They look at an office next to a pub called the Pillars of Hercules. And then they look at an office above a restaurant that is called Bailey's Bistro.
Oh, fun.
Bailey's. David thought to himself, Bailey's. That's Anglo-Irish. That could work. He calls Tom. What do you think about Bailey's Irish Cream? Tom replies, that sounds right. I think it's perfect.
Wow.
He bought it immediately.
Amazing.
Didn't even think about it. These guys are like, if they like it, they do it. It's like that Ariana Grande song. You
What?
like it? I don't know about her hair.
No, try.
No, I can't.
Try.
No. She's like, I like it, I buy it. Or something like that. Yeah, I want it, I get it. I forget, but it's a good song. It's old.
Finish that Tumblr Bailey's and then just do a little karaoke.
All right, so now they have the name and they move on to packaging. They need a bottle. Now, I don't know if you know this. I mean, we kind of know this a little bit because we went through a Shark Tank phase. Normal protocol would be if you're going to design a bottle for a new liquor, you would have a mold, you would design it, you would have a mold made, and then you would create the bottles.
Sure.
That costs several thousands of UK pounds.
I believe it.
They were excited about this drink, but they definitely weren't confident enough to invest that kind of money for a pitch. So they look around at existing bottles that they have at their company, and Tom finds one for an Irish whiskey brand that was called Redbreast, named after Robin Redbreast. Do we have? I don't think we have Robin.
Robin Redbreast? They're not in Los Angeles, I don't believe.
They're plentiful in Ohio. I love them.
A
You would always wake up
Redbreast.
and there would be Robin Redbreast in your yard, and they're up early and they're always looking for worms, and they're just standing in your yard, and then their whole head turns and they're looking for worm, and then they get the worm.
Like a classic earthworm?
Yeah.
Wow, the early bird does get the worm.
I just saw a dumb dad joke about that. They're like, if I'm getting up early, I want something better than a worm.
That is true. Like a steaming hot bowl of oatmeal.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. All right, so the bottle that they found, it's a brown glass, it's squatting around, and it's your typical liquor bottle, and he thinks it's
Perfect.
going to work fine. So then they asked their secretary's husband, who did graphic design, to come up with some label ideas. They give him a brief. We now know what a brief is. Then ask for a Kerrygold butter styling, but for an alcoholic drink.
Wow.
Think contented grazing cows, lush green pastures, like an idyllic Irish scene. This guy sends over 20 different designs. They're all drawn to the same one. And David makes a joke that the label that we have today is basically the same one that they picked, but over 40 years, they've made minor tweaks and spent millions of dollars on
Of course.
Which makes me think of all those brands. They come out with a rebranding, and it's they slightly change the font, and they're like, this cost us $300 million.
What a waste.
It's that's the business to get in. Okay, so they have their label design. What's going to go on the label? On the mock-up, they describe the drink as an Irish cream chocolate liqueur, but David felt like the drink needed to have an origin. So they put on it that it is from the dairy distillery County Monaghan. And that is something that he just completely made up. It's
What, really?
Yeah.
All those words?
All those words. He just thinks it sounds more distinguished. It reminds me of, I don't know if you remember the old Olive Garden commercials where I just came back from the Culinary Institute of Tuscany.
Yes.
And it's what?
I'm still waiting for my acceptance letter from the Culinary Institute of Tuscany, Olive Garden.
Sarah, has the Culinary Institute reached out?
First semester, cutting off the corner of a plastic bag. Second semester, dumping the bag into a pot of water.
That's basically what people are saying. They're like, it is a bagged product.
Give me a break.
I like the idea. You're not on TikTok, but there's during graduation time, there's tons of videos of an entire family just around a computer waiting to see if their kid got into a school, and then everyone either cheers or cries if they don't. I love the idea of someone doing that to find out if they get into the Culinary Institute of Tuscany.
I like that also that you can just lie without consequence. They just make up the words, make up the Culinary Institute.
It's the 70s.
It's the 70s.
Okay, so we have the name, we have the bottle, we have the label. Now, it's common for marketing teams at this time to show clients, to present in a rough form. They didn't have computers to rely on. They can't print out a cool, jazzy label.
No PowerPoint.
No PowerPoints. They're using like crayons and markers to like make labels. And that's not even like an exaggeration. That's just kind of what they do. But
that's cool.
David and Tom did not want to do this. They continued to want this to not only the drink to be perfect, they wanted the whole presentation to be as polished as possible. The way that they looked at it was if they give them a rough design, it would look temporary, which would invite people to give suggestions. And to be honest, they didn't want anyone's suggestions, which I love because I hate, beep, I didn't mean to beep. I'm drunk. I don't love getting notes. Like, you can take them, but it's like, sure.
Yeah.
You can get too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. They have a vision and they should run with it.
Yeah. So they just wanted to look authentic and sleek and a finished bottle with a printed label. They also wanted finished bottles for two other reasons. They wanted to conduct some test marketing, and they wanted to do that in two ways. They basically wanted to have a traditional focus group, but then Tom thought it would be interesting to actually place a couple bottles in a local bar to see if anyone asks about it and orders
Just seeing it on the shelf, if the bottle was enough to intrigue a local drunk.
You see that? You're like,
okay, what is that back
Bailey's,
there?
what's that? The original? Okay.
What is that, a sheep on there? That sounds fun.
Is that Irish? I'll have a glass of that.
Great.
Okay, so it's the night of the traditional focus group, and they have a group of men and a group of women. And a lot of the men, they assume, have come here because basically they're getting paid to have a free drink. Have you ever done a focus group? I've done focus groups.
Yes, and I'm currently involved in like some mailing list for a new focus group thing, so I'm getting solicited all the time. I just applied to a swimwear study. I'm applying.
They can be fun if you don't have to do too much. I used to do focus groups for new television shows, so I would go to like North Hollywood. I would sit and watch the show, and you've got that little like dial, and they're like, if you don't think it's funny, you go one way, funny the other way. And at some point, if you would have turned it off, hit a button. But what sucked is they're always like, once you hit that button, you still have to do the dial because we still want to know how you feel about it. But I did that a million times.
When during our show do people hit the button?
They never hit the button.
They turned it all the way to positive was when we started talking about oatmeal, right, Al?
Oh, my God. Quit trying to make oatmeal happen. So... Now you got me out. Now I'm just, all I see is a bowl of oatmeal. How did you even get that in my notes? All right. So according to David, and I think this is true because I've been in enough of them, when you're in a focus group, someone in it usually rises up as the dominant voice. They're the loudest one. They have the most opinions. So they were looking for that guy because if they can get that guy on their side, he can influence everybody else. They're good to go.
They need a John type.
They need actually, I wouldn't naturally become the dominant one in a focus group, but
Has it happened?
I don't know, but I'm fine with the role. I'm fine with doing it. So they find him, they let him like enjoy his drink for a bit, and then they ask him how he feels about it.
And he goes, okay.
He's like, okay. No, he's like, it's a girl's drink.
Oh.
The other men nod and agree. This is kind of the worst case scenario because now you've got the alpha male saying it's a girl's drink. No one else in the group is going to be like, I like it.
They might not have even thought that until he said it.
Yeah, especially in 1973 London. No one's going to be like, I liked it. It is not a girl's drink.
So they don't want to get just 50% of the market. They want 100%. They want a drink for everybody.
Yeah. Why would you only go for half of the market? So it's kind of a disaster. But the thing that they found interesting is once it was all done and all the men left, they had all finished the drink. They had all drank it all. So they took that as a good sign. Okay, so it's a girls' drink. So they're going to have much better luck in the girls' focus group, right?
You would think.
You would think. They go to the women's focus group. One woman says, it looks and tastes like kaolin and morphine, a popular diarrhea medicine at the time. Not exactly what we're looking for.
And was she like the alpha of that focus group also, where then everyone just agreed with her?
Or she's just the Karen. Yeah, I assume she was.
That's a delicious diarrhea medicine.
Exactly.
I'll take two, honey.
So, they're not feeling high about the focus group.
Sure.
So then
They're like, you know what? Focus groups, you can't even really put too much stock into what they say anyway.
they're probably just here for the
these
10
schmucks?
quid.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bust. So then they check in on the bottles at the pub. They're still there. He checks in pretty regularly. They're still there. One day he goes in and there's only one bottle there. He does not think it has been drunk. He assumes it either got knocked off the bar and broke, or the bartender was like, I'm giving up too much real estate. I'm only going to have one bottle out. The bartender's like, no, man. He's like, a couple of cops came in and asked for it and drank the whole bottle.
Wow. Okay.
I literally wrote in my notes, okay, now we're cooking. So this is very encouraging to him, and he feels like he's ready to take it to Dublin. It's November 1973. It is wet and cold in London, because of course it is. They pick up the official focus group report on the way to the airport to go to Dublin. It mentions the girly drink. It mentions the kaolin and morphine comment. David looks at Tom and he's like, why don't we just not show him this? Tom's like, I agree.
I love that idea.
They put it in a briefcase, and it is not seen again until he presents it at the Bailey's 10th anniversary party in 1984, which it gets a huge laugh because that year Bailey's sold 48 million bottles that year.
That is awesome.
Isn't that cool?
How fun.
That's super fun.
That's so funny.
All right, so they get to Dublin. They're excited to show off the Baileys. Their bottles are gorgeous. They have a beautifully printed label. Tom has gone into his home shed and put like gold wax seals on the shoulders of the bottle. It just looks super impressive, like something you would buy. And then it's finally showtime. They meet the Gilbey's Irish team. They describe them as just like a bunch of nice guys. It's like not pretentious or scary. David and Tom do the pitch together, which can be a little awkward. Tom hates sticking to the script and he loves stealing David's lines. David touts that he has Kerrygold experience because Kerrygold at that point is being celebrated as one of Europeans' most successful stories.
I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, so he's like, maybe that'll help a little bit. The Irish team is very enthusiastic about it. They treated the bottles respectfully. They enjoyed the drink, and it's been fine. Mac had done his job and fine-tuned the drink by this point. It's probably closer to what we're drinking today than it had originally been. And they didn't even ask if they had done market research for it, so that became a moot point. It didn't even matter because that wasn't quite as ingrained as it is now. Now it's like too much market research. It's like many things probably die because of all the market research that people do.
I'm sure. I really admire the balls to just like say like, we're just going to ignore this.
Yeah.
Because I would be so discouraged if I was like, no one likes it in our market research.
I would
the
too.
bars didn't like it. We just had like two drunk cops, the only ones who tried it.
We're like, okay.
I call it quits.
Let's quits.
Spend 1 hour on another idea.
Yeah. I don't have another hour in me. So everyone's feeling good. The Irish like treats them to like a lavish lunch with expensive wines. David runs into the
You're there with your Ziploc bag. Taking a grouse for later.
I asked the kitchen if they have an empty bottle. Don't ask why.
And a funnel.
And a funnel. Taking home some sloppy old wine. David runs into the Gilbey's sales director who tells him it's not for the Irish market.
No.
Definitely not. It'll never sell here. But you know what? It didn't matter. He wasn't in charge. The team thought that it was worth taking a chance on. And it really was taking a chance because for them to do this, they would have to build a new plant. They would have to invest in a bottling line. They would have to spend a lot of money on marketing because as we have learned again on Shark Tank, if you're introducing a new product, you have to teach people about that product.
Yes.
And they're not a huge company. So if this doesn't go well, they're like going, not all in probably, but they're going in.
This is a big risk.
Yeah.
They're going to be ass out.
The first thing they do is remove the word chocolate from Irish cream, chocolate liqueur, because they felt like the word chocolate at that time didn't belong on a label of a premium liquor product. Fair. That was too much for them.
I agree with that.
And then they kind of just slowly take over ownership of the ideas, but they kept David and Tom informed of changes, and they would ask them for help if they needed it. And then at the launch party, David and Tom and his team show up, and they're a little bit surprised when they are told to stay in the back of the room and not discuss anything. Bailey's doesn't belong to them anymore. It is now the product of the Irish. And then they realize that that makes sense because this team, it's their thing now.
They're the ones who are taking the risk, and this was the intention all along, is that they're going to create this for the Irish to run with.
It's kind of like when you have like a surrogate, like have your baby. Like once that baby is born, you are now the mother.
That is the perfect analogy.
I just thought of it. It's not in my notes. But that is what it's like. And they're like, okay. The funny thing is, David said at one point in the party, he was introduced as a guy who helped design the label.
Oh, my God.
So that's
that
a
would
little...
hurt.
Yeah.
He'd be stewing over that.
That one, yeah.
It's a bit
David
of a
is
stew.
definitely stewing in 1974. You know, it would take a few years for Bailey's to really take off, but obviously it eventually did. It's now sold in over 130 countries around the world. More than, and this is kind of a slightly old fact, so I'm sure it's way more now, but more than 2,300 glasses are being consumed every minute. You and I are doing 2 right now.
That's a lot.
You have Bailey's Original Irish Cream. That is what kicked it off. Now you can either get or have been able to get salted caramel, espresso cream, chocolate, cherry, vanilla, cinnamon, red velvet, apple pie, s'mores, pumpkin spice, strawberries and cream, and so on and so on.
Wow.
They even make a vegan version now called Almande, which is an almond flavor with almond milk. And it's $1 billion brand. And after it became successful, people would always, when David would bring it up, because he did like to bring it up, you know, I invented Bailey's, and people would be like, you did? How much did you make from that?
Why are you poor?
You must be rich. And he would say, I made a total of 3,000 UK pounds.
Are you
on
kidding?
creating Bailey's, which is about $20,000, but he got paid a single lump sum for this project, and that is it.
Wow, no percentage.
And people be like, wait, didn't you get like a nickel a bottle? Nothing.
Unbelievable.
And it sucks because it doesn't sound like it was like the Nike swoosh. We've all heard that story, like the woman invented that. She didn't get paid a lot, but they celebrated her throughout milestones. Like they eventually, I think, gave her a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
They gave her like a diamond swoosh. Like, sure, she would have been richer if she had gotten royalties, but they still remembered her.
He's gotten kicked to the curb, to the cobblestone curb.
I love that.
Akin to surrogates, I do think if you're a surrogate for a baby, you should get 1% of the money that baby makes when they grow up.
Or like one leg.
Maybe a toe.
You get a toe.
A pinky toe.
Oh my God, that's how you know someone's a surrogate. They're wearing like a bronze
Around
toe.
their neck. I did retain a small portion of my creation.
Oh, I got what's mine. I got what's mine.
Baby toes are so tiny. They're so cute.
Babe. They are really cute.
It's like the size of a peanut.
How many baby toes do you think you could eat?
Babe, no.
Off brand. Fun fact, or just a fact, if this episode, which most of our episodes have made you crave whatever we're talking about, and you decide to go to a bar, just be warned, if you order a traditional Irish coffee, you will not be getting the delicious drink that I'm drinking right here, because that is simply Irish whiskey, simple syrup, coffee, and cream. It is a lot stronger.
Yes.
Very alcohol forward. So just know that going in. So that's basically the story of Bailey's. I would wrap it up there, but I do enjoy having a game, and I did come up with a quick game. I could not think of a fun name for it, so it's just called 1974 or whore. And
I think you did come up with a fun name for it.
You have to decide if the invention I tell you was also created in 1974 when Bailey's was.
Okay.
Or you're a whore.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to try.
All right. Post-it notes.
I don't think that was in 1974, so I'm picking whore.
It was. So I don't know what that makes you. You are still a whore?
I'm a smart whore.
Okay. Bic lighter.
Ooh, there's a fact I know about Bic lighters. I don't think that was 1974. I'm going to say I'm a whore again.
1973. Oh, good.
Yes.
The McDonald's quarter pounder.
1974.
71, you whore. Orville Redenbacher's gourmet popping corn.
Ooh, that feels 1974.
Whore.
Oh.
Last one. And this will be interesting. Because this will...
Oh, are you stewing on something?
No. This will prove whether or not you listen to my shows.
Okay.
Boo Berry cereal.
Oh, man. No, that was 1978.
3, you whore. But fun fact, 1974 is when Bailey's was invented.
Yeah.
That same year. And can you imagine a world?
A time machine, please.
Give it to me, please.
Back.
Let me quickly grab an original Big Mac, and then I'm headed to 1974, because that year alone, Post-it notes.
Unreal.
The Rubik's Cube. The Heimlich maneuver. Skittles. Liposuction. Dayquil. Dungeons and Dragons. People magazine. And the Volkswagen Golf.
Oh my God.
1 year.
By December, your head was spinning. You choked on a Skittle. You got revived. You ate too many Skittles. You
Run
got
over
fat.
by
You
a
got
golf.
lipo.
You got your
run over
fat
by a
sucked
golf.
out. Then cut to 2025, and you have what I talked about in off-brand butterbeer crackers.
Unbelievable.
We're not creating anything new.
We're on track for a terrible, terrible time.
Yeah.
Before we go for Bailey's, I want to give a recommendation. My mom is I'll say, aficionado of Bailey's. She's a huge fan.
She is? I did not know that.
A woman in her mid-70s, huge fan of Bailey's. So she orders a White Russian, which is typically vodka, milk, and Kahlua.
Okay.
She will order that, but instead of milk, she'll get Bailey's. So she'll have a triple booze special.
I love that. I feel like I'm going to become a Bailey's boy.
I do see you rattling around.
I'm gonna instead of the large bottle, I'm gonna buy a bunch of like the little like airplane size.
Yeah,
bottles.
if you need a little nip mid pod. Sure.
Clinking around. Oh, and before I go, one last thing on Bailey's. I thought this was really fun. So on our Patreon chat last Saturday, I had like researched all day and I decided to take a break and run an errand. And I just threw it out on there like, what's everybody doing on this Saturday night? And Jessica wrote in, doing my college son's laundry and relaxing with hot chocolate and Bailey's. Gonna read part of my book in a few minutes. I had spent the entire day
how
researching
fun.
Bailey's and she had no idea.
Wow, if any of the listeners are sipping on a Bailey's while they're driving, listening to the pod, we would love to know. Honk 3 times and then shoot us an email.
Send us a snail mail. I wrote her back, fun, I'm writing this week's show. And she had no idea.
Wow, how exciting for her.
Very fun. Okay, and before we go, I want to give some shout-outs to our Freaks of the Week this week. If you're not aware, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post an Insta Egg, which is a puzzle. And if you solve the puzzle, you'll figure out what our brand is going to be that week. And I will send you a little fun freak badge, and your name will be added to our Wheel of Freaks. And then every week, we spin the wheel and pick 5 Freaks of the Week. Last week, I did tease that I might give the first Freak of the Week to the first person that gets it. I am going to do that today, and that's going to go to Caroline Knott. So I only spun the wheel 4 times. So here's our Freaks of the Weeks. Caroline Knott, Joe Andrews, Alex Rizkowski, who sent us the bobblehead.
Wow.
So that is not why he was Freak of the Week. It just happened, but I'm so happy that he got it. Amanda Edwards and Jillian Skolton. So thank you guys so much. This was another record-breaking week of people that played the puzzle. We had over 200 people. I could barely even read the names on the wheel, so I love that you guys are enjoying it. So if you are not following us on Instagram, please do, not only for the Insta Egg. Every week we also post like supplemental material to each episode that kind of helps bring the episode even more to life, things that we talk about or founders we think are hot or not. We put all that in there and you can check all that out. So it's just another extension of the show.
And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to give a shout out to some lovely listeners who have left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. First, we have Rhinestone Cowboy, who wrote some very kind words about the show, loving the pod, and then also mentioned a quote from Girls Just Want to Have Fun, a movie that you watched for the first time recently with Helen Hunt.
I loved it. And this is crazy. When I was a kid, you said Rhinestone Cowboy?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had like a cowboy hat and boots. I would get in my closet and
where you would stay until you were out of high school.
Then I came out during college and it was hard, but it gets better. No, I would perform Rhinestone Cowboy for my family. Aww. And they probably don't even remember, but I just did it alone. But in my head, the family gathered around and I would perform Rhinestone Cowboy.
That is so cute. So this is from Rhinestone Cowboy. There was a movie, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, with Helen Hunt, Sarah Jessica Parker. Fantastic 80s movie. There's a quote that says, Velcro, next to the Walkman and Tab, it's the coolest invention of the 20th century. Funny because my dad invented the Walkman unofficially.
That's insane.
And Velcro, off our Velcro episode. Orville Louise says, what can I say? Michael Cassidy has done it again. So this is really a 5-star review for Michael Cassidy.
Love it.
And Skippy Instagram page says, I'm a freak and I'm bringing more freaks with me. Love the pod.
Love it. Bring them all. We're happy to have them. And now, I mean, listen, I don't want to say you have to join the Patreon, but if you're in it, we've just launched our Discord and it's only been up for like 3 days and I'm obsessed with it. Like, we're building a community here, people, and you do not want to miss out on this. We are ranting. We are raving. We are hazingaing. I'm chiming in. Sometimes I'm in there alone and I'm like, where is everybody? I'm here.
Any time of day, 24 hours a day, 3 a.m. You can voice chat with Jon. He will pop out of bed.
I literally yesterday realized I had to change my status to idle so people wouldn't know if I was there or not, because I felt like it just said I was there all day. Because I think it was showing I was there even if I was doing other things, so I felt a little crazy.
Jon, you've been alone in this chat room for 12 hours. Are you okay?
Are you all right?
So if you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that. It really helps with the show. It boosts our morale. Check out the Patreon.
We're drunk. Remember, this is our drunk episode.
Check out the Patreon. The link is in our Instagram at On Brand the Pod, or on TikTok at On Brand the Podcast. On Instagram, play the Insta Egg. Check out our supplementals, clips from the show, all that stuff. And we love hearing from you guys. So if you have any messages or thoughts on Bailey's, honk 3 times and send us a line.
Yeah, let us know your most enjoyable Bailey's moments, and then we'll explore those more off brand.
Hashtag share your Bailey's moment.
I love that.
And with that, we'll be back next week with a whole new episode.
Babe, we are so sloppy. Just remember, guys, we may go off topic and we may be a little sloppy, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.